In today's episode, we walk through the essential gear you need to get a basic recording setup going so you can write some music and hone your craft from the comfort of your home during the coronavirus saga. Welcome to the Make Your Own Music Podcast. The Make Your Own Music Podcast is sponsored by Blank Tape Studios, blanktapestudios.com, the recording and production studio of choice for all artists with a passion and vision for creating unique and original music. I am your host, JR2, a producer and music coach with Blank Tape Studios and jr2music.com. Before we get started, I wanted to follow up with our last episode about why right now is the best time to get started on your music career, considering the coronavirus saga. And I feel like I didn't touch enough on a very important topic, and that could come off as being insensitive. And that topic is, right now, everyone is just focusing on getting their needs together, getting their safety together. In other words, having their oh crap moment. This is real. This is real. If you're having your oh crap, this is real moment, that is totally okay. These are tough and unique circumstances. Right now is the time to focus on our priorities and our needs. A lot of times, our priorities align themselves. But I would say if you're struggling right now in any way, shape, or form, whether that's not having enough toilet paper, or not having food, or mentally feeling broken down, or physically being beaten down, reach out to your friends and family. I think before anything, the most important thing we can do right now is focus on building our community and strengthening our community digitally. There may be someone you know right now who is struggling, and you can be the person who helps them at this time. Please stay home. Please stay home. Build your community digitally. Again, the internet, the greatest tool we've ever seen, is at our disposal. Use it to check up on your friends and your family and reach out to that person who's at the top of your mind right now and see if they're doing okay. Now is the time to do that, but do everything you can to stay home. So in our last episode, we got on this idea about the internet being the greatest tool that mankind has ever seen. So with that in mind, I wanted to talk about your gear and what gear you can buy right now to get you going at home. Back in the day, you needed a giant mixing console and tape decks and all this outboard gear in order to make music. That is simply not the case anymore. Right now, you can spend about $200 and be in a position to make a professional sounding record. So I'm going to walk you through the process of purchasing a bundle and setting up that bundle to make your own music. And at this time, when everyone's all humdrum and gloom and doom, I can't help but be wildly optimistic. I mean, what a time to be alive, that all you need is $200 to get started. $200, that's it. And with this setup, you'll be able to produce scratch tracks to use to write songs with other people, or to produce demos to use to prepare to go to the studio, or like I said, you can produce a record that's ready for Spotify or other digital streaming services from the comfort of your home, in your underwear. So the gear and the setup. Whether it's a giant commercial facility with a 96 input mixer, the big giant mixing deck, the table, the desk, dozens of microphones, thousands of dollars in microphones, thousands of dollars in outboard gear, or a home recording studio setup, every recording system has the same basic parts. And those same basic parts just grow in size and scale based on the size and scale of the facility. And this recording system is usually called a signal chain. The first step in your signal chain is what's called the input device. And that's usually a microphone or an instrument. And this is what you are using to capture sound with. So in this case, on this podcast, I have my microphone that I'm speaking into. The microphone is my input device. Next, in the signal chain, you have usually a preamp. And in this case, because we are existing in the digital world, we have what's called an audio interface or a converter. Think of this like the central hub of your system. It has a lot of purposes. First, it converts the electrical signals of your analog input from your input device, like your microphone or a guitar, into digital signals, like ones and zeros, that your computer can read and interpret. Then it converts that digital audio in your recording program back into an analog signal that your speakers can play back for you to hear. Think of your interface like a translator. You have your instrument or your microphone speaking one language, and your computer speaking another language. This audio interface is going to interpret both languages so that both devices are able to talk to each other, and you will be able to hear the result. After your interface, you have what we've already covered, being the recording device, whether that is like back in the day a tape deck, or in this case a DAW or digital audio workstation. This recording device or digital audio workstation is what's going to record your audio and capture the sounds coming out of your input device that have been converted by your audio interface. Your digital audio workstation should also have some effects built into it. If you've heard terms like EQ, compression, reverb, delay, saturation, these are effects. And effects are digital signal processors that you can use and put on different tracks in order to adjust and manipulate the sound of your audio in the recording program. Now, if you listen to the last episode, I gave you a bunch of different options for recording programs and DAWs. A quick recap: you have GarageBand for Apple computers, iPads and iPhones. You have BandLab for Android phones and tablets. You have Pro Tools First available on Mac and PC. And you also have Presonus Studio One for Prime available on Mac and PC. I'm not sponsored by them, but my favorite is Presonus Studio One. And that's just because that's the one that I have the most hours logged with, and that's what I use to make my record. The last point in the signal chain is the output device or speakers. In this case, it can be a pair of headphones or a pair of really nice studio monitors. You may have heard the term flat or flat monitors. Don't worry about that right now. The important thing is that you have a pair of speakers, whether that's headphones or speakers that you know and trust. You know exactly what they sound like and what the response is. I've produced records and mixed records using Skull Candy headphones, using small 3.5-inch Presonus monitor speakers, which I have at home, or the Big Bertha, the Beast Mode speakers that you found in big studios. And again, the point is to just make sure that you can trust the speakers you're working with and you know exactly what they sound like. So now moving on to the bundle and the setup and some background on this. Why do I vouch so hard for this bundle? Well, this is, again, what I use to write, record, produce, mix, master my EP Uncharted, which is available on Spotify right now. If you go type in Uncharted by JR2, you'll find my record there, Shameless Self-Promotion. This record was done 100% at home. I did not use any big, giant studio processors or gear or any of that stuff. I made it with the gear that I'm about to tell you about, and that's all you need right now to get started. If you're just getting started, don't worry about the end of the line. Just take care of what you need right now and grow as you grow. If your skills grow and you get good enough, you can write, record, produce, mix, and master a record from start to finish, all from the comfort of your home. So the setup. It's the Focusrite Scarlett Solo Studio Bundle. As I'm making this podcast right now, the bundle is $179. So for less than $200, you can get everything you need to make a record yourself. Welcome to 2020, where technology is cheap and creativity is king. So why should you buy this bundle specifically? Well, first, it has every piece of that recording system or that signal chain that we talked about. It has an input device in the form of your microphone. It has the audio interface. It has the output device in the form of the headphones. And it also gives you all the cables you need. And it comes with two DAW options, Pro Tools First and Ableton Live Lite. Again, all for that price of less than $200, which is absurd. In terms of value for money, it really can't be beat. It has enough quality so that you can get started making good music right now. Again, this is what I used to record my first album with, so it can be done. But it's also priced low enough that the risk is low. If you try it out and find out that you don't want to write or record your own music, then you did not waste thousands of dollars on a setup that is going to sit in your closet and collect dust. It's the perfect bundle to get your feet wet and to grow with. In addition to the bundle, you will need to get a microphone stand for the microphone, unless you already have one. And if you have extra coins after that, I would suggest getting a pop filter to put on the microphone. This will make it so that your plosives don't get overcaptured. If you're wondering what a plosive is, it's that sound that's made where you say a word that begins with a P or a B, and what that does is it moves extra air that goes into the microphone and it gets overcaptured. So this would be an example of a plosive. A little overemphasized, but you get the point. A pop filter really isn't necessary. You can always speak a little over the microphone or a little bit below it, and that'll usually do the same thing. So we have our bundle, we have our microphone, we have our interface, we have our headphones, we have our cables. So real quick, I'm going to give you a crash course on how to use all this gear. And it's okay if you don't have it yet. You can always come back and re-listen to this part. I'm going to be using Presonus Studio One. And so you have two options. You can either go download that real fast. I'll put a link in the description and the show notes of this episode. Or you can follow along in your own DAW it should be fine because most DAWs are pretty much the same anyways. So first, take out your computer and turn it on, and then plug in your audio interface into the USB port of your computer. Then regardless on if you're on a Mac or PC, go to your sound options and tell your computer to use the audio interface as its chosen sound device. If you're on a Mac, go to System Preferences and then Sound, and then the Input Device. And there you should select the Focusrite USB as your input device, and then go to Output and do the same. Select Focusrite USB as your output device. If it's not named Focusrite USB, it's going to be named something that includes Focusrite in the name. If you're on PC, go to your sound settings and do the same. Under Outputs, look for Focusrite USB, and under Input, select Focusrite USB. Now you want to open Studio One or your recording program of choice. Again, I am pushing forward as though you are using Studio One, but it should all pretty much be the same because most recording programs are like 99% the same. So we have Studio One open, and we're greeted by this screen that has like create a new song, open an existing song, and some news on the side and some options. So what you want to do is go to Options or Preferences again, and then go to Audio Setup. And when you're in the Audio Setup tab, what you want to do is click on this Audio Device drop-down menu, and there will be a whole bunch of different options for different preamps and things like that. That doesn't really apply to us. We just want to select Focusrite USB, so click on that and select that option. Once you've done that, click on Create a New Song, and there should be a tab that says like Styles, and this has some different templates to get you started, like for a band recording, or a house techno song, or a piano ballad, or rock band, or singer-songwriter. Feel free to explore these, but I'm going to start from scratch and go to User and click Empty Song, Create an Empty Song. There's going to be a tab on the top right that says Song Title, and you can put whatever you want. I have mine set up to do the date and the name automatically. And then there's going to be a file directory that allows you to pick where you want your song to be saved. So pick that location and then hit OK. So let's say we want to record vocals. So we're going to go up to the top menu where it says Track and click on that. And then click on Add Tracks. And then the name of the track, I just type vocal. The type, we want an audio track. We're going to make one. For the color, I like it to be blue. For the format, I'm going to make it stereo. Don't worry about a preset for now. The input should be input left and the output should be the main. Click OK and you have just created a track. Now to record on that track, you need to get your microphone out and plug it into the interface. Your bundle should have come with what's called an XLR cable. That's a bigger cable that has 3 prongs on the inside. You want to plug that into the input that looks like it matches the cable type. Once you have it plugged in, go ahead and start talking into your microphone, and then there should be a gain knob on the front of the interface on the left. Turn that up and it'll start lighting up to tell you that it's receiving signal. Green is good, orange is and red is bad. What I would do is I would start singing as if I'm about to be singing and turn the knob up until the LED is green and just starting to turn yellow or orange, and then back it off. Basically, you want your gain turned up as high as you can without the LED going orange or red. Red is clipping, which means that it is completely losing signal. It is too loud for the computer to interpret the signal that's coming in. It sounds pretty bad, and you don't want that. So back it off so it's green, and then you'll be good to go. So now go back to your computer, back to the track that you just created, and on that track there's going to be an M for mute, an S for solo, and then a circle. And if you click on that circle, that is arming the track for recording. After you arm the track, if you start singing, you should see the level meter moving up and down, but you may not hear anything. If that's the case, keep singing and go to that big silver dial on the right side. That's the monitor dial or the output dial. Turn that up slowly while you're singing until you hear yourself in a good level in your headphones. So you have your track, it's armed, you have your microphone plugged in, and you have some input coming in. Your gain is set at a good level and you can hear yourself in your headphones. Last thing, go to that circle button at the bottom of the middle of the screen on Presonus and push it. Congratulations, you are recording. And that's the crash course and the quick setup. So play around with the program. Check out Pro Tools First or Ableton Live Lite. All 3 are great options to use. And the interface should come with a download card again that has Pro Tools First or Ableton Live Lite for you to download for free and get started. So quick recap of today's episode. Stay safe and focus on what's important. It's okay if you're having your oh crap, this is real moment. We all are. Reach out to your friends and family and just talk about it. Reach out to that person you've been thinking of. Next, it's 2020. $200 and a computer is all you